People behind the
People who are
screens.
there, can you please join us here?
I see them coming.
But please, when you see the empty space in front of you, make sure you fill it.
Should I be standing here?
So thank you very much. I think we can start the afternoon session. People who are online, is it okay that we can start? The sound is very okay. Okay. So thank you very much for people who are physically here and those who are online. I hope that we are together. We're going to have two sessions, one on innovation in education and research in pharmacy, the other one on practice and professional development of pharmacy specialists. I would like to welcome the moderator of this session to come and present for us the speakers.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Theogene Uizeimana. I'm a pharmacist, and I'll be moderating the panel on the innovation in research and education in pharmacy. So the session is going to be divided into two sessions. We are going to have an overview of what is innovation in education and research. And then we have a panel discussion where we discuss some of the key comments that was raised in the presentation. So please allow me to welcome one of the panelists we have today. We have Dr. Marie-Françoise Mukanyangezi, who is a lecturer and the head of the Department of Pharmacy at UR, and she's going to take us through the innovation in education and research in pharmacy. Please join me to welcome her on the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator, for this session. I'm very happy to be here with you, trying to show how the University of Rwanda, through the Department of Pharmacy, is contributing to boost, I'm insisting on boosting your innovational capacity in research. I'm insisting on boosting because before noon we were discussing on the term boost, and this is what left in my mind, to boost. Now, University of Rwanda is trying to boost your innovational capacities in research, especially in pharmaceutical fields. So I'm Dr. Marie-Françoise, as the moderator said. I'm the head of the Department of Pharmacy, and really it's a pleasure for me to be given this topic because I know that most of you did not have a good induction session to know what the program of pharmacy really offer to his graduates and his students, and really it's a good opportunity to communicate it to you And we expect you will share the knowledge from here to those who are not present today to know what they are supposed to receive and maybe receive it with interest. So when I received the topic on innovation in education and research in pharmacy, I had the difficulties in understanding what kind of innovational skills the pharmacy for you, how do you understand innovation? I want you to get a clear understanding so that during the discussion, we talk the same language. Innovation, by definition, is a complicated term, which complicated even researchers. And as a summary, it was decided to be like a successful introduction of a new thing. Successful introduction of a new thing or a new method. So it can be have a different component like idea or item which is novel. There is always something new. Or it can be a change which results from adoption of the object. Or, in the last, it can be defined, no. The second is the change which results in the adoption of object or idea. So, if we apply the term innovation to education, I'm trying to define words. How innovation is understood in education. It is first different from reform, as we can understand. Innovation in education is different from reform. It is also different from change. It is defined as introduction of an improved or new process or product or service or either a new way of managing activities and a new marketing approaches. This is innovation in education. That definition can include either new educational methods or a new social wage or scientific technology or economics. That innovational education encompasses all those things surrounding education. It could also be like a methodological approach, which is new, or methodological philosophy of teaching. It should also be an instructional tool, instructional tools which is used in teaching, or a teaching techniques, or learning process. Learning process is different from teaching technique because teaching is what learners receive, but learning technique is how learners receive what they are offered during the teaching. It should also be an instructional structure, or it can be, or those instructional should aim to bring major improvement in the process of teaching or learning in order to improve the student learning. This is what is defined as educational innovation in education. There are several elements which are targeted while talking about innovation in education. Either it's a process which is concerned by the change or by the novel fact, or several or aspects of educational system. Educational system means or encompass either the process, the teachers, the learners, the parents, or stakeholders in education should be targeted by the new or novel thing or product, or one element among others. And it concerns all stakeholders, as I said. For example, learners, when we talk about, I don't think when you raise the issue of innovation in education, you were thinking on the learners' role, but also learners are part of, should make innovation. Not only teachers or other systematic elements, learners also are concerned by innovation in education, as well as teachers. If we insist on how teachers should innovate in the educational activities, we should say that maybe teachers should get a new education, or should improve their education to get a professional development in order to be able to innovate in the method of educating. And they should either get a new education or professional development. I think you understand the difference between professional development or lifelong learning. They are different. And those changes or innovation in teachers can include either the new attitude they get, new disposition. When we say the new disposition is like teachers should be able to receive changes in order to adopt or to accept the innovation, to implement innovation, to adapt to changes in the way of working. Be able to accept the changes. Teaching style, they should change. Motivation, skills, competencies, and self-assessment. All those should be part or targeted by innovation for teachers, but also learners have their role to play, as I said. Teachers, as I said, they are main component of innovation in education because they were shown to be fundamental element of the education success. We are main important element because we can't really assume that student alone should get to the level we expect without our contribution. It is known that lecturers and teachers are fundamental elements in the success of the learning process. It was shown that teachers they shape the student learning environment. We are the main element, promoter of the good learning environment, and we help students to reach their intellectual potentialities. We are the main element. And the how of teaching, how we teach, and what we teach is really important. the content and how we deliver our teaching content are important to contribute to student learning environment. I insist on that because maybe you will have, I wanted to direct your discussion and formulate your question regarding the educational innovation. So what are the types of innovation in education? They should be an introduction of a new service or of a new product, like a new curriculum, or a new textbooks, or it should be a new process in delivering the teaching, like services, or the use of technology in our teaching. The example is the e-learning activity or technology. It should be also a new approach in activities, organization, like the ICT use. Like we are using the social medias to communicate with students, with other stakeholders. Those are a kind of innovation in education. And while formulating your discussion, you should guide them in that way. It should also be an introduction of a new marketing technique, like changing or adapting or innovating a good way of marketing our university, our department, in order to attract good candidates to our program of teaching. All those should be part of innovation, or the innovation should be introduced at all those several ways and be considered like innovation. So I don't know if it's really eligible, but the graph I took it from one publication from a country, and it's a component of innovative development at the high education level. Components. There are several. They should innovate from staff development, and this should be considered like part of innovation in education. The innovation should enter through social development. That also should be considered as innovation. It should also be enter into the system through development of international cooperation or economic development, a new thing which is from the economic level. Organizational development, if a given department should change the way or innovate in the way it organizes its internal activities, it should be also considered as innovation in education. It should also be technological development, as well as scientific and research development. I don't think maybe it was only looked as only scientific or research or technological, but all those elements should receive innovation, which is qualified as innovation in education. Not only those two on the last. I have also found another graph. It's characteristics of innovative educational models. There are several models in education, and it should be a combination of different types of student activities, like scientific, practical, ensuring close to real condition. Maybe you should have found some example which are in that model of context. It should also be a game, use of game, which is innovation, which aim to improve student learning. It should be introduced as a game, but with aim to improve student learning, and which is new from the past method, and this is considered as innovation. It is called the imitation. It should also be structuring the content of educational materials like a module or PowerPoint or what, and to maximize its mastering. Learners or teachers should innovate a way of organizing content so that it's very easy for students to get an important message. This is also innovation, and it is called modular, like the modular system we had. It was like brought like new at university, and it was innovation too, if we can say. It should also be an initiation of student-independent search knowledge. The model let students independent in his way of searching for knowledge. It's also in innovation. Don't refuse those methods which let students searching themselves for knowledge. It is not really a laziness from the teacher's side. It's a good method which is innovation in teaching, and it is considered under problem model. It should be also differentiated task for students of different abilities, and it is also another model, as well as the model of innovation in education, which give free access to educational resources to let students or learners maximizing their role and minimizing the role of teacher. We give somewhere, in some countries, there are those free model, distance learning, where they provide all resources to you. You take your time, you read whenever you want, and you come whenever you found you are free, or you are ready to pass an assessment and to get certification. You are allowed to sit for an exam, and then you get your credit without any involvement of lecturer. You have that free access to education, and it is distance learning. And on that side, there are characteristics that you can read if you want. But all those are different ways of innovating in education. And each one maybe has its pros and cons, its goodness or badness side, but all are those models. And now, after having what is innovation in education, let us come by combining all those and direct them to pharmacy profession. Pharmacy profession is shifting nowadays. You are aware. Before it was product-oriented. We were mainly focusing on pharmaceutical industries. Now it shifted all worldwide. Even if in our country we don't have a clear direction yet because of several reasons, but it's shifting from product to patient-oriented in all of our countries, worldwide. And you pharmacists, professional pharmacists or future pharmacists, you will be called mainly to manage pharmacotherapy in clinical setting, and you have to respond to that new requirement. Apart that shift to patient-oriented services, we have also new pharmaceutical products, biotechnological products, pharmacogenomics, recombination, screening technologies, and bioinformatics, which show that there are major advances that pharmacists in profession and the few pharmacists need to be skilled enough to afford. And in general, a good pharmacist should respond to known skills or characteristics. And among all all over the country, pharmacists should be good communicator, have skills to communicate, have interpersonal skills. Those are the skills which characterize a good pharmacist for the profession of pharmacy. Leadership skills, analytic skills, a good memory, and counseling skills, scientific aptitude. All those skills should be combined, should be found in one pharmacist. There are too many. There are too many, and maybe your question is to ask how pharmacy education contributes to boost those characteristics into one pharmacist we graduate as educators. So it was shown that really educators, as we are at the pharmacy department, we have the responsibility to decide how and at which extent, by which method, which ways we adopt change to new changes for our graduates. And as it was shown, different countries, different pharmacy colleges reacted differently to the changes and adapted their needs according to their local or specific society needs. Here, I would give, this is the recommendation, the current recommendation from the ACP, is a Association for Pharmacy Education, something. They recommend all those models to build a pharmacist who will be able to adapt to changes. They are basic competencies to provide. As the principal said, what we provide to pharmacists, future pharmacists, is basic. And this association organization recommend those pharmacists in the course of the learning process to cover all those elements. Of course, with other from basic sciences. But what the University of Rwanda do to build or to prepare our future graduates in pharmacy to afford those changes? It's only to afford to be able to adapt to new changes. Because now we are dealing with COVID, but next we're dealing with other pandemic. And we can't train you, students today, to be adapted to COVID, forgetting that after COVID, maybe it should happen another challenging situation. This is why we train pharmacists to be adapted to any change which can happen. And here we have the University of Rwanda graduate attributes, which we were communicated in 2010, I don't know, but all those attributes the University of Rwanda wants to develop during the stay at university building, they reflect the government of Rwanda vision, and that vision was translated into the mission of Ministry of Education, and then the implementation was given to University of Rwanda in order to produce those workforce, future workforce, updated to the market need. I don't know if you can read it, but on the website of university, there are those skills. There are those what are really new, what we call soft skills. Those soft skills such as lifelong learning, globalization, those students don't learn them in one course, single module. They have to be developed all over all modules, subject-related modules. Each lecturer should develop those skills together with the subject-related content. And what is the case for the pharmacy department? Yeah, from the pharmacy department, those who were there in 10 years before, they followed a 5 years program. And since 2008, we introduced a modular system. This also was an innovation really, and it was to respond, to adapt our graduates to changes which were happening, like internationalization, regionalization, the language matter, and the exchange, harmonizing with other countries. And then those modules which were introduced, or programs or curriculum which were introduced in 2018 were subjected to be revised anytime the need is shown, if according to the market needs. This is why in the Department of Pharmacy, since years, we introduced the last curriculum revision, and this includes, it is not yet on the implementation level, it is still in the process of approval, but we introduced, I want you to pay attention on the content. You will find that we have a new modules such as new innovation. If we agree on the definition, we gave on innovation in education. For example, in year 1, you saw the module of mathematics and biophysics, for example. They are who didn't cover mathematics in the university studies. They are harimo watarizibonye mathematics module. We brought back that, and in year 2, you have the component of social pharmacy. Do you found it? Social pharmacy, yes, you had Isoko social medicine, but we decided instead to have a social pharmacy which deals with social pharmacy issues in pharmacy. In year 3, there are also new modules, and you note that at each level we have modules called innovation. We should have innovation somewhere. Citizen transformation, maybe you had, but we have a fundamental entrepreneurship and innovation. And in year 2 also, we have another component, the component of intermediate entrepreneurship and innovation in year 2. In year 3, level 3, we have another component of, we should have innovation too, advanced entrepreneurship and innovation. We have also other new modules or components or modified modules, which were, for example, we brought back the component, the module of nursing care and first aid, because we are planning to have, maybe we are planning pharmacists to be involved in those activities like vaccination at the pharmacy level or other things which need those skills. Some of you had those modules, but other didn't get, and we found that a lack or a weakness, and we brought back. We have also other emphasized module. For example, we had medicine and food analysis. It was a combination. Before it was not like that. We have also another new module, maybe not at that level. Maybe in year 2, the module which was called the botany and traditional medicine was modified, and it was upgraded to botany and complementary and alternative medicine to help pharmacists to monitor or to be able to manage those complementary products which are increasing on our market. So in year 4, we have the module of pharmacy and drug management, including marketing management, which was not there in the past. We have accounting, because we realize that those knowledge are lacking. We also introduce or emphasize on a module of advanced pharmacovigilance. As we are having a functional regulatory agency which will need a stronger workforce. We introduced a module of community health care system, which was lacking while you are health care professionals. We introduced a module of public health, because you will be soon involved in public health activities, as it was shown elsewhere. We also included a kind of pharmacoeconomics, which we brought some introduction to how to decide to which technology to adopt for your society, for your people, as a pharmacist and healthcare professional member. Those are some innovations that I can say at the pharmacy department level, and it's up to you to formulate your questions to us. And really, as a conclusion for me, it should not be yours, but shifting of pharmacy education from technical to more clinical aspects really should not change the identity of pharmacists. Should not. What we have to do to emphasize is to equip you skills to be adapted to any change, which should be current or future. And initial education of pharmacists still covers the fundamental sciences. We will never leave the sciences because of, we have. That gives student pharmacists proper knowledge and equip them to be competent, to be involved in technical and industrial work. You will let me know if you are not strongly equipped to be part of industrial work. Research. Let us come back to the component of research in pharmacy. Research and development for pharmacists really is not only lab work. You should conduct research and the development not only in the laboratory, but also in the clinic. You should run research in a clinic. Clinical research is a very important phase of drug development, and pharmacists are most involved there. They have enough skills. If you have pharmacokinetics, if you have pharmaceutical care, if you have everything pharmacovigilance knowledge, you should contribute to research somehow. And pharmacists can be competent to work in research and development, but not yet at the level of undergraduate. To be fully equipped with research and development skills, pharmacists, after their graduation, should gain from there a skill of life learning skill, to have always a need to upgrade their knowledge, to be able to adapt to changes. And with that skills, any change which requires you to be strong enough in research, you will be able to find a way to get that skill, because you have that spirit of developing. And at the level of undergraduate, you don't really require to be highly expert in research. What you have is enough. And in our profession, to upgrade, if you wanted to emphasize on your research component,